Yep, hi all. So it's February 2021, and it's always good when you get a box like this from Aaron at DeLorean Go. So yep, here's the new bits and pieces to fit. So what I've decided to do was, these are the original tail light boards. I've got my MOT coming up next week, and whilst one of these boards works completely fine, the other one's a little bit iffy, and it's obviously, as you see here, it's been repaired as well by a previous owner. It just looks a bit, they look a bit shocking. They're obviously old, they are exposed. I have cleaned, I mean, believe it or not, I have actually cleaned up the boards. All the connections inside, the bulb holders are all mint. I re-riveted when I got the car many of the connections as well. So this board here works okay. It's just a little bit, you know, it's not in keeping with the car. I mean, I'm trying to get the car looking nice. I haven't spent any cash on the car, you know, for a week or two, and I thought, you know what, this is a good time to do it before the MOT. And so this one here is a little bit iffy. So in this one here, one of these, I think it was this one here, I think this bulb holder here is a little bit iffy. So kind of like needs just needs a bit of fettling, you know, maybe re-riveting, you know, or even just to be fair, a little bend in it. But I thought, you know what, can't be asked to have some shit repairs on it as well. So yeah, so these boards here, selling them well, but yeah, there's nothing wrong with this board, and I'll be selling these cheap if anybody wants them, minus the LED bulbs, which you can see I've got in there, plus these bulbs. So these are new ones that are splashed out on, say from Aaron at DeLorean Go. They look really nice. Put them in, job done, sweet. And that way I also get then I spent some money as well on the 2 blocks, which is cool. So I'm gonna, this time I'm actually going to attempt to crimp these on properly. So I've got a crimper, had a bit of a practice. So I'm gonna see if my crimping tool will crimp those to try and do a proper job. And then I'll potentially then put a little bit of solder on as well once it's crimped. So we'll see. But I want to do a proper job on that, you know. So I want to insert those, you know, on here, and it's all nice. Do it once, do it properly, job done. I also splashed out on, say, the seals as well. So these again from DeLorean Go. Nice thick seals. Mine probably work, but they're all quite crushed and all that sort of stuff, and obviously they're old. So I thought, you know what, I splashed out some big money, get those. So I've got a couple of pairs of those. I'm guessing they're both the same. Yep, the same item on there, which is cool. Something that's really quite exciting for me is this. So this is amazing 3D printed switch alignment tool, and obviously you can see they've made it look, I forget what the guy's name is, apologies, but it looks really nice, and he's done a really good job of making that effect, or painting or whatever, to give you that sort of leatherette. I don't know if it comes up on camera, but there's a sort of leatherette ripple, there you go, ripple to it there. Really nice, because my switches, you know, there's nothing wrong with the switches, but you look at them and think, for me, they're all like wonky. They all just look nowhere near in keeping with the quality of the car. So on video 2 or 3, once I've done this job, I'll also put this in at some point, very soon, next couple of days, and I'll film it as well and upload the results. But that should look decent. Comes with some instructions, not looked at yet, some cable ties, which is cool. I've also got the metal alignment one, which I've already fitted. So if I don't need that, if both aren't compatible together for some reason, then I'll be selling the metal one. But to me, you know, this could be the main one to make my interior look pretty smart. So it comes in a nice tube as well, which is cool. And there we go. Yeah. So I'm gonna have a go now. Obviously this should be quite easy. Mainly the time really is a case of crimping these on properly. They're going to do a quality job. Heat shrinking, all that sort of scenario. Obviously the car's just here. So yeah, let's crack on. Cheers. Oh yeah, so what I'm doing is I'm basically soldering I'm crimping each one and soldering it as well. So I've got this crimper here, which works, but it's obviously not the perfect design for these types of clips. But you can still use this crimp anyway to do it sort of half a crimp each, half. Do one crimp first, then the other part of the crimp, and if you can see that, it's come up really quite. Well, I'd say it's come out quite nice, which is cool. And then obviously just dabbed on a bit of the old flux, bit of solder on there, cool. And then I'll start to install those in here, get it looking nice. This is the old one, which just looks shocking. So yeah, that'll look much nicer. And then I'm going to probably sort of insulation tape or something, I'm not sure yet, but something along those lines to protect that wiring. So yeah, that's all going quite well. But yeah, so crimper and solder. Cool, nice one. What a glorious day it is. Cheers. Well, yep, that's the first one. So that took an hour. So as you can see here, I think it looks quite neat. Certainly compared to how it looked horrendous. So what I've done, as I mentioned, I was going to do is I've lots of tools you need, and obviously soldering irons. I've used a crimping tool to crimp. First of all, I've made each wire the right length, so it all looks quite neat, I would say, compared to how it looked. I've then crimped each one and then added a little bit of solder onto each one as well, but didn't necessarily need to add the solder. But I thought, you know what, got the soldering iron there, just sticks one anyway. So pushed in, all looks totally sweet. And then what I've then done, as you can see, is I put some clear silicone in place, not to hold it in place, just to add an additional aspect of weatherproofing, which I believe would be handy based on the condition of how corroded the other ones, the old ones were when I took them out. So I thought, you know what, bit of that on there would be fine. Any issues, poke it out with a screwdriver, job done. But yeah, that all looks good. These are additional, I think these are additional diodes here. I think these are either for the reverse lights or the fog light conversion. I forget which one it was now. Maybe it's a fog light conversion, I think. But yeah, that's why you have one of each of those on the UK cars, you know, and you won't have it on the rest of the cars. But yeah, I think that looks really good. So I let that dry off now. I can install the headlight the rear tail light gasket on those, and then that go back in again tonight, and then the other one I'll do tomorrow lunchtime. And so this is the state of the other one, so it's not too bad. Yeah, I can get that all done absolutely mint. That is actually not too bad, that one, but I'll redo it anyway, and neaten it all up and cable tie it and all this sort of stuff. Cool, nice one. Cheers. Yep, also as you can see, the units are now in. So I've done all the neat, quite neat wiring, I would say, on there. So those are in. Don't forget as well that you need to brake if it's a UK car and using fog lights. You need to remove the metal here, just as you can see there, so that the brake lights and the fog lights work correctly. So that's all good. That's all good on there as well. So what I must say is it's not a fault, of course, of DeLorean Europe. It's these connectors. I'm definitely not a fan of these connectors. I know some people make their own ones and use different connectors. These are a bit shit, in my opinion, because they only make contact one side. They're a bit iffy. It's pushed on properly. It's just a bit crap. So what I'm going to do on that is it's making perfect contact. So I'm just going to put a cable tie through the middle, around the whole thing, just to make sure it pulls on. I know I can go sideways, obviously, on here, but it doesn't quite sort of sit right, you know, in between here. So it does go on a bit further. It doesn't quite sit on absolutely perfect, you know. So yeah, a nice little cable tie on there. That should sort that out. Put those in. That's cool. I just had a quick test run. They all look good. I just fitted the new seal around the outside here. So the seal here is much harder than the seal that obviously came off it, which is obviously, you know, 30 or 35 years old, whatever it was, foam. And this is a much harder, some sort of foam, but it's much harder. But it's really nice. You just pull it ever so slightly, just to sort of ever so slightly stretch it, and it pushes in lovely. And I just put a little bit of glue on here, just on the centre point, just because I thought I might as well, you know. Obviously it would be so yeah, that should go on fine. I think Aaron mentions you might need to possibly sort of cut some of the seal away with a sharp knife at an angle, he mentions on the forum. But what I'll do is I'll put the light in a minute, see how it sits. If it sits fine, and I'll leave it as it is. So that's cool. That all looks good. I've got the reg plates, the original reg plates, to go back on again tonight, ready for the MOT. As I mentioned, these will be up for sale if anybody wants them. Obviously dirt cheap. This one here is completely fine. This one here is a bit crap, but yeah, they'll be up for sale as well. And then I'm going to have a go at putting the light switch unit in. So you can see at the moment it's not too bad, I guess, because, you know, that sort of grey, they're ever so slightly different colours and all that sort of stuff, but it'll look really neat once that plastic 3D printed thing's in there. Cool. Okay, excellent. Nice one. Cheers. Yep, so the job's now done. The new tail light boards are fitted, and yeah, it went in really nicely. Like I mentioned to you, the clips, which are obviously original design, aren't the greatest clips in the world, but that's not the problem of the vendors. It's just the design of clip, that's all. But otherwise, yeah, they went in really nice, no problem at all. You definitely need a crimping tool and ideally a soldering iron I would suggest, but certainly a crimping tool is required for that to do it properly. But yeah, they went in very, very well. So yeah, I'm really pleased with those. So the next job now is to fit the switch cover. So yeah, but otherwise I'm really, really pleased with those tail light replacement parts. Really nice. Cool. Perfect. Thank you.